You turn on the news, you scroll through your phone. What do you see? Chaos, turmoil. It feels random, like a world spinning completely off its axis. But what if it's not random at all? What if there's a pattern? What if the headlines that shock you today were already written down nearly 2,000 years ago? We're about to connect the dots between the geopolitical firestorms you see on TV, the shocking changes happening to our planet, and the deep shifts in our own culture, and connect them back to the words of ancient prophets. Stay with me, because what you're about to see might just change the way you look at the world. In the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38, the Bible lays out a stunningly specific prophecy of a great future war. It describes a coalition of nations, a powerful alliance from the far north that will come against the nation of Israel. For centuries, people have studied these verses, wondering how an alliance like that could ever possibly form. Today, we don't have to wonder. We just have to look at the headlines. Ezekiel names the key players. The invasion is led by a figure called Gog of the land of Magog, the prince of Rosh, Meshech, and Tubal. Many biblical scholars have long identified the land of Magog and Rosh with the region of modern-day Russia, though this interpretation is not universally agreed upon by all academics. The prophecy then states this northern power will lead an alliance that explicitly includes Persia. As you know, until 1935, the nation we now call Iran was known as Persia. For most of modern history, a powerful alliance between Russia and Iran seemed unlikely. They were rivals. But look at the world stage today. We are living in a time where Russia and Iran are engaged in powerful military and political cooperation. Their weapons deals, their shared strategic goals in the Middle East, and their unified opposition to the West have created the very alignment that Ezekiel seemed to describe. Headlines today frequently confirm this strategic partnership. The prophecy goes on to say this coalition will advance against a very specific type of Israel, a people brought back from the sword, gathered from many nations who are living in their land. This is a remarkable description of Israel today, a nation reborn in 1948 after nearly 2,000 years of dispersion, a nation that has built a prosperous, yet constantly threatened existence. The specific scenario in Ezekiel 38 has never occurred in recorded history. But today the stage is set. The players are moving into position, their alliances mirroring an ancient text. But it's not just about armies and politics. The prophecies are also about the earth itself. The book of Revelation describes a series of dramatic events that will shake the natural world. One of the most startling is in Revelation 16, verse 12. The sixth angel poured out his bowl on the great river Euphrates, and its water was dried up to prepare the way for the kings from the east. The Euphrates River was a cradle of civilization. For it to dry up would be a catastrophic event. And right now it's happening. News reports and official warnings confirm the Euphrates is shrinking dramatically. A combination of climate change and dam projects has reduced its flow, with Iraqi officials stating water reserves have hit record lows, the lowest in 80 years. While some argue this is purely an environmental issue, for those who watch prophecy, it is a massive alarm bell. The very event the Apostle John wrote about, the drying of the Euphrates, is becoming a reality, potentially clearing a path for a future military advance, just as the scripture predicts. And it's not just the Euphrates. The Bible speaks of the seas and the waves roaring, of fearful events in the heavens. We see an increase in unprecedented natural disasters, strange weather, and other phenomena. Viewed in isolation, any single event can be explained away. But when you see it as part of a larger pattern, it paints a sobering picture, a world groaning, seemingly in fulfillment of these ancient words. The prophets also gave us signposts to look for within our own cultures and the hearts of people. The Apostle Paul, writing to Timothy, gave a description of the state of humanity in the last days that is so accurate it's chilling. In 2 Timothy chapter 3, he writes this, "But realize this, that in the last days difficult times will come. For men will be lovers of self, lovers of money, boastful, arrogant, revilers, disobedient to parents, ungrateful, unholy, unloving, irreconcilable, malicious gossips, without self-control, brutal, haters of good, treacherous, reckless, conceited, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, holding to a form of godliness, although they have denied its power. Read that list and ask yourself, does that not sound like a news feed describing our world today? We live in an age where a love of self is often promoted as a virtue. Social media can fuel a culture of boasting and arrogance. We see a breakdown of respect and traditional family structures. The text describes a society consumed by pleasure and entertainment, yet spiritually empty. And Paul's description of people having a form of godliness but denying its power speaks to a shallow spirituality, where faith is often reshaped to fit personal preferences instead of conforming to truth. This isn't just a sign of the times. It was foretold as a specific marker of the final era. On top of this, the prophet Daniel predicted that in the end times, many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. Daniel 12, verse 4. There are a few interpretations of this, but one of the most common points to our modern era. Never in history has this been more true. The explosion of global travel and the internet has made it possible to go anywhere and know anything almost instantly. The sheer rate of information growth is unlike anything humanity has ever seen. This unprecedented increase in knowledge and movement is another key sign clicking into place. We're covering a lot of ground, and it's clear these aren't just isolated incidents. A pattern is emerging, one laid out for us thousands of years ago. If you want to keep getting updates and analysis on how world events are aligning with these ancient texts, make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Of all the prophetic signs, many theologians believe the most important is the nation of Israel. The Bible's prophetic clock seems centered on it. Its rebirth in 1948, after 2,000 years of being scattered, is considered by many to be the super sign of the end times, the event that signaled the final generations. But the prophecies go even further. They speak of a third temple being rebuilt in Jerusalem. For that to happen, a very specific and seemingly impossible biblical requirement must be met. The ashes of a perfect red heifer are needed to purify the priests in the temple site, according to the book of Numbers, chapter 19. For 2,000 years, a qualifying red heifer, one without blemish or non-red hairs, has not been found. But that has now changed. In September of 2022, 5 potentially qualifying red heifers were flown from Texas to Israel. As of mid-2025, several of these animals remain under strict rabbinical supervision by organizations like the Temple Institute, which is dedicated to preparing for a new temple. This group has already created the sacred vessels and has trained priests to serve. They even conducted a practice run of a red heifer ceremony in July 2025 to prepare. While no official sacrifice has occurred, and this remains a minority movement within Judaism, the preparations are public and advancing. The arrival and preparation of these heifers is a monumental step, a piece of the puzzle that was missing for 2 millennia, setting the stage for a key location in end times prophecy. Look, one of these signs on its own can be dismissed. A war in the Middle East? It's happened before. A drought? That's climate science. Societal decay? That's just history. But we are not seeing just one sign. We are seeing all of them. At the same time, this is what many prophecy watchers call the convergence. It's the simultaneous occurrence of all these distinct and specific prophetic events that makes our time unique. We see the specific alliances of Ezekiel 38. We see the environmental signs of Revelation unfolding in the drying of the Euphrates. We see the societal description from 2 Timothy reflected in our daily culture. We see the knowledge explosion from Daniel 12 in the palm of our hands. And at the center of it all, we see Israel with tangible preparations being made for a third temple. It's the convergence of all these threads, geopolitical, environmental, cultural, and spiritual, that suggests we are not just in another period of turmoil, but a season of prophetic fulfillment. The pages of the Bible are coming alive in our news feeds. So, let's go back to the original question. What if today's chaotic headlines were written down 2,000 years ago? The patterns are hard to ignore. The alignment of current events with ancient prophecies from Ezekiel, Daniel, and John is too specific to just brush aside. This isn't about setting dates or causing fear. No one knows the day or the hour. But Jesus did tell his followers to know the season, to watch for the signs. And the signs he spoke of are no longer distant dots on the horizon. They are here. They are converging. If these ancient words are truly coming to pass, what does that mean for you, for your life right now? That is a question you have to answer for yourself. Our goal today was to show you the connections. If this video has opened your eyes, please share it. It's a message people need to see. And be sure to subscribe as we continue to watch these events unfold. What we are witnessing is not the end of the story, but it may just be the beginning of the final chapter. Be watchful, be aware, and be prepared.